So I'll explain to those who haven't read the book. Kazmuna is an 11th century or 12th century in the 1100s poet, Jewish, who wrote in and spoke in Arabic, which was the dominant language at the time when Spain was under Muslim rule. And I came upon her in the Jewish Women's Archive doing research, and they got the information from the Cairo Geniza, which is a storage cache that archaeologists found in Cairo, because you can't burn or destroy any book with the word of God, and so Jews would store all their books, and also in there were letters and information of daily life of Jewish women. So she also was mentioned in the Cairo Geniza. So Kazmuna, I made her an ancient relative of Isabel's, so that Isabel could look up to her, because Isabel wants to be a poet. And one thing that the Cairo Geniza also showed me was that Jewish women were lettered. They read and they wrote, which was very unusual. And so after the expulsion, Jewish women continued to write back to friends and family that were still in Spain. Family that had converted, that had become Christian. So this was women in the diaspora writing back. But I also learned from my book on Trujillo and looking at the court cases that women took over their husbands' ledgers if they passed away, and continued to run the business. So Jewish women, by and large, were educated, and they were taught by their fathers. Kazmuna was most likely taught to be a poet by her poet father. Not poetess, that's a female. But they didn't go to school, the women, but they could sit in on tutorial sessions and school sessions with their brothers. And if the father was willing, they could learn. So Abuela is a big character, Isabel's grandmother. She is taught to read and write by her father, who's a rabbi. It skips a generation, so Isabel's own parents don't teach her to read and write, because they are now more assimilated into the converso world, which was run by the nobles, and lettered women were looked down upon. As Spain started conquering the Muslim cities and ruling, and the Reconquista ruling more of Spain, reading and writing and education became less valued for women. So Isabel learns it in the basement, which is their secret area. And her grandmother teaches her to read and write in Spanish and in Hebrew. And then she can end up doing her father's ledgers for the wine business. So during the convivencia, which was the era where the Muslims, the Jews, and the Christians all lived more or less harmoniously, there were tensions, but this was in more of like the year 900 to 1400. When Muslims ruled Spain, when Islam ruled Spain, there was education, was valued. And so I wanted Isabel to be a vestige of that era, and show, how a female could be strong. And so there are feminism themes in here. And, I hope that they resonate with modern day women, to know that even back then, you could still, you had to fight for your place, but you could still have it.